Assalamu alaikum students. I am your teacher Hamna Shahzad, lecturer in English. Today I am going to record a lecture for you based on literary terms. It is a general lecture for literature students. Before discussing the literary terms one by one, we should be aware of what literary terms are. Literary terms are those literary devices and figures of speech that are used by a writer to express his or her ideas and to enhance his writings. ओके यहाँ पर जो लिटरेरी टर्म्स मैं आपसे डिस्कस करूँगी उनकी डिस्कशन मैं करती जाऊँगी और उनकी प्रॉपर और एक्यूरेट वर्डिंग में जो डेफिनेशन है वो आप साथ साथ इमेजेस में देख सकते हैं, आपको दिखाई देंगी. ओके, लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट लिटरेरी टर्म, that is allegory. Allegory is a story or poem in which characters, events or setting stand for another character, person, events or abstract ideas or qualities. Allegory एक्चुअली चिल्ड्रन स्टोरीज के तौर पे भी होती है. उसके अंदर जो टेक्स्ट होता है वो लिटरल स्टोरी लाइन में नहीं लिया जाता, बल्कि उसका मकसद होता है कंटेम्प्रेरी पॉलिटिशियंस पर या कंटेम्प्रेरी पीपल पर, रूलर्स पर क्रिटिसिज्म करना. लाइक एनिमल फार्म, लाइक गुलिवर्स ट्रेवल्स, जोनाथन स्विफ्ट. सो दिस इज एलेगरी. देन हमारे पास है अलिट्रेशन. Alliteration एक figure of speech है. In alliteration, there is a repetition of consonant sounds in the words that are close together. इसमें आप examples में देख सकते हैं कि regiment और remnant साउंड जो है वो repeat हो रहा है. इस figure of speech का purpose है to create musical effect in a poem. ज़्यादातर ये figure of speech पोइट्री में यूज होता है क्योंकि ये पैटर्न्स को मजीद आई कैचिंग और म्यूजिकल बना देता है. नेक्स्ट, allusion. Allusion is a reference to something or someone that is known from history, politics, religion, literature, sports and any other branch of culture. It is an indirect reference to something, usually from literature. Allusion को आप उर्दू में तलमीह भी कह सकते हैं. आप लोगों ने अपने उर्दू की पोइट्री में ये वर्ड जरूर पढ़ा होगा, तलमीह का, जिसे कहते हैं हवाला देना भी. इंग्लिश में इफ आई गिव यू एग्जांपल, मैकबेथ के प्ले में मैकबेथ का एक डायलॉग है. ही सेज लाइफ के बारे में, इट इज अ टेल टोल्ड बाय एन इडियट full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. इस डायलॉग में जो एक फ्रेज है साउंड एंड फ्यूरी, इट इज टेकन बाय अ राइटर विलियम फॉल्कनर और उसने अपने नॉवल का नाम इन 2 वर्ड्स पर रखा, साउंड एंड फ्यूरी. नेक्स्ट है हमारे पास एंटागनिस्ट. एंटागनिस्ट इज अ फिगर और कैरेक्टर इन अ स्टोरी, इन अ प्ले, इन अ नॉवल, who struggles or blocks the way of hero or protagonist of the story. This character might be a villain, might be called a villain. अभी आप अपनी सिलेबस में एक प्ले पढ़ेंगे, मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस. If we take this play, मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस, उसमें हमारे पास हीरो है, might be Bassanio or Antonio, and we can call them protagonist, one of them, protagonist. And in this story, an antagonist is Shylock, who actually blocks the way of Bassanio or Antonio. The next one is characterization. Characterization is the process by which the writer delineates or describes a character. Characterization की आगे से हमारे पास टाइप्स हैं. Indirect characterization, direct characterization. Indirect में writer after telling that how a character looks like, how he dresses. उसके बाद he allows the reader to hear the thoughts, private thoughts and feelings of the character, and by revealing the effects of personality of the character on other characters. आप इसको यूँ समझ लें कि इनडायरेक्ट कैरेक्टराइजेशन में राइटर खुद से कैरेक्टर के बारे में नहीं बताता, बल्कि डायलॉग्स की सूरत में या स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस की सूरत में आपके सामने कैरेक्टर की थॉट्स, उसकी फीलिंग्स और दूसरे कैरेक्टर्स का बिहेवियर टूवर्ड्स दैट कैरेक्टर आपके सामने लाता है. तो दिस इज कॉल्ड इनडायरेक्ट कैरेक्टराइजेशन. डायरेक्ट कैरेक्टराइजेशन में राइटर टेल्स अबाउट द कैरेक्टर हिमसेल्फ. लाइक वो आपको बताएगा कि ये कैरेक्टर गुड है या बैड है. कैरेक्टराइजेशन के हवाले से नाउ स्टैटिक कैरेक्टर. A static character is one who does not change during the course of the story. Then dynamic character. A dynamic character is one who changes in some important way as a result of action in the story. As a result of any action in the story. Then we have flat character. A flat character is one who has only one or two personality traits. They are only one-dimensional characters, and they can be summed up in one phrase. They are like piece of cardboard. Next, round character. Round character is one who has different personality traits, and they are multi-dimensional characters. They are complex like real human beings. Next is comedy. Comedy in general, a story that ends in happy resolution of the conflicts between the characters. Means comedy वो story है, उस story में आप play को भी ले सकते हैं, novel भी, short story, whatsoever. कोई भी form of literature हो जिसमें conflicts के जो resolutions हैं वो happy ending की तरफ जाते हैं, तो that type of story is called comedy. Next is conflict. Conflict in any sort of story is what we can say the struggle between opposing forces or characters. Conflict can be of two types: external conflict and internal conflict. External conflict में conflict between two persons, a person or a machine or nature, or a person and between a society. Internal conflict involves the conflict within the mind of a character. Means एक कैरेक्टर के माइंड में एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है, कुछ अपोजिंग आइडियाज के हवाले से स्ट्रगल चल रही है. मीन्स if a character has to decide something and he is facing some sort of in a fixed position, means वो decision नहीं ले पा रहा और opposing forces उसके mind में है. Next is connotation. The associations and emotional overtones that have become attached to a word or phrase in addition to its strict meanings is called connotation. Example, if one says about someone, he is a very fatherly person, means that he is very affectionate. जो word fatherly है, इसके साथ जो connotation attach है, that is affectionate. और connotation के against होता है denotation. Means denotation में strict dictionary meanings आ जाते हैं words और phrase के. Diction. Diction is speakers and writers' choice of words. Means वो words, वो language जो writer किसी भी अपने literature के work में use करता है, that is called diction. Then didactic form of fiction or non-fiction. It is the type of fiction or non-fiction that teaches some sort of moral or lesson and provides a model of correct behavior and thinking. Next is elegy. Elegy is a mourning poem about someone who has died. Means in it, writer laments the death of his friend or his beloved, his near one. एलिजी के एग्जाम्पल्स में इंग्लिश लिटरेचर में जॉन मिल्टन की लिसिडैस एंड शेली की कीट्स के लिए, जॉन कीट्स के लिए एडनेस. ये इंशाल्लाह पोम्स जब आप अपनी नेक्स्ट क्लासेस में आएंगी, बीए में आप लिटरेचर पढ़ेंगी तो आप ये फॉर्म ऑफ पोइट्री पढ़ेंगी, एलिजी. नेक्स्ट इज एक्सप्लिकेशन. It is an act of interpreting and discovering the meaning of a text, usually involves the close reading of figurative language. Figurative language means यानी टेक्स्ट में राइटर ने जो फिगर्स ऑफ स्पीच यूज किए हैं लाइक मेटाफर, सिमिलीज, उनको इंटरप्रेट करना और फिर टेक्स्ट के मीनिंग फाइंड आउट करना, इस प्रोसेस को हम एक्सप्लिकेशन कहते हैं. Next is farce. Farce is a type of comedy in which ridiculous and stereotyped characters are involved in silly and far-fetched situations. इस टाइप की कॉमेडीज भी आप अपनी नेक्स्ट क्लासेस में पढ़ेंगे, स्पेशली in your third year syllabus. A play is end of the beginning. It is a farce play. Previously, I have told you about figurative language. So now I would tell you what is figurative language or figurative words. ये वो words होते हैं कि जिनको अगर literal meanings में लिया जाए तो ये inaccurate होते हैं, but they are used to describe. इसकी वही examples जो मैंने आपको बताया, metaphors, similes, symbols, metonymies, etc. Now flashback. Flashback is a technique used by the writers in novels and plays. It is a scene that interrupts the normal sequence of events within the story, and it describes the event that has happened earlier. Foil. Foil is a character who acts as contrast to another character, often villain, contrasting the hero in the story. It is not necessarily a villain. For example, in the play Macbeth, Banquo is a foil to Macbeth, and Macbeth actually acts as if he is a villain, and Banquo is a well-mannered and good-mannered person. He has strong morals, and he is a foil to Macbeth. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is the use of hints and clues to suggest what will happen later in the plot. Means story में कुछ ऐसे hints और clues राइटर दे जिनसे पता चले कि आगे स्टोरी में क्या कुछ होने वाला है. Now hyperbole. Hyperbole is a figure of speech that uses incredible exaggeration and overstatement for a fact. इसमें ऐसे वर्ड्स जो अपने रियल मीनिंग में ना हो, exaggerated हो, means if I have told once, I have told you a million times. Imagery. Imagery is the use of words to appeal the senses. Means it is a figure of speech that is used to appeal five senses, like sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of touch, etc. Next is irony. Irony is a technique of writing or writing style that is discrepancy between appearance and reality. Means difference between appearance and reality. There are many types of irony. Number 1, verbal irony. Number 2, situational irony. Number 3, dramatic irony. Now I will tell you these ironies one by one. Number 1, verbal irony. This irony occurs when someone says something and means something else. Example में आप ले सकते हैं कि if one says to somebody that you have left the door of my room open, यानी एक इंसान को आपने अपने कमरे में आने के बाद उसको कहा कि आप मेरे कमरे का दरवाज़ा खुला छोड़ के आ गए हैं. एक्चुअली यू वांट टू से दैट कि मेरे कमरे का दरवाज़ा बंद कर दो. Number 2, situational irony. Situational irony takes place when there is a difference between what is expected to happen or what would be appropriate to happen and what really does happen. Third one is dramatic irony. This irony is called dramatic because it is usually used on stage, and in a play or story, character thinks something is true, but the audience and reader knows better. Next, metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech that is used to compare two unlike things, and this comparison is made without using these words such as like and as. For example, if one says that my brother is Jem, it is said so because her or his brother is very precious like Jem. Metaphor has many types. These are implied metaphor, extended metaphor, dead metaphor, and mixed metaphor. Next, metonymy. Metonymy is a figure of speech in which a person, a place, or a thing is referred to by something closely associated with it. Example, our petition is not supported by the Crown. Crown here is used to represent monarch, means king, ruler. Next is paradox. Paradox is a statement that appears to be self-contradictory, and often it reveals some kind of truth. For example, a statement, we have to lose our life in order to gain it. Next is personification. Personification is a figure of speech in which an object is given the feelings, thoughts, and attitudes of human beings. For example, remember your very first poem of first year, The Rain, in which the poet presents leaves as drinking water. Leaves are not supposed to drink water, but the poet has personified leaves in this poem. Next literary term है plot. A plot is a series of related events in a play or a story. There are three characteristics of plot. Number 1, exposition. Exposition में आपको सारी स्टोरी का इंट्रोडक्शन मिलता है, उसके कैरेक्टर्स का इंट्रोडक्शन मिलता है, और एक तरीके से सारी स्टोरी आपके सामने उसकी सेटिंग आ जाती है. सेकंड नंबर पे आता है क्लाइमैक्स. क्लाइमैक्स होता है आपका जहाँ पर स्टोरी अपनी पीक पे होती है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स आ जाते हैं आपके सामने, और यही वो पॉइंट होता है जिसमें सस्पेंस भी राइटर क्रिएट करता है. लास्ट होता है रेजोल्यूशन. रेजोल्यूशन में सारे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स रिजॉल्व हो जाते हैं और एंडिंग आपके सामने किसी भी स्टोरी में आ जाती है. नेक्स्ट टर्म है पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. Point of view is the vantage point from which the writer tells the story. Point of view can be first person point of view, third person point of view, omniscient point of view, and objective point of view. Next term is protagonist. ये word भी आप आगे काफ़ी ज़्यादा लिटरेचर में पढ़ेंगे और सुनेंगे. Protagonist स्टोरी में सेंट्रल कैरेक्टर को कहते हैं, यूजुअली हीरो. And in a tragic hero, there is always a hamartia or tragic flaw that leads to his downfall. Protagonist initiates and derives all the action of the story. Next is satire. Satire is a type of writing that ridicules the shortcomings of persons and institutions. in order to bring about a change. Satire की examples में you can take children's story Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. Next, simile. Simile is a figure of speech used by the writer to compare things by using words as and like. It is slightly different from metaphor. Next term is soliloquy. Soliloquy is a long speech made by a character when he is alone and no any other character is present on the stage. ये soliloquies आप शेक्सपियर के plays में पढ़ेंगे. Next is stream of consciousness. This is a style of writing that portrays the inner, often chaotic working of a mind of a character. इसमें writer जो है वो खुद से statements देने के बजाय character की thoughts को language में convert करके आपके सामने लाता है. Next, style. Style is a distinctive way of a writer in which he uses the language or the distinctive way of using diction, tone, or syntax. Suspense. Suspense is a feeling of uncertainty and curiosity about what will happen in a story. Suspense आपको interest develop करने के लिए आपका interest develop करने के लिए writer अपनी story में create करता है. Next term है symbol. Symbol is a person, place or event that has meaning in itself and that also stands for something more than itself. Tragedy is a story of suffering of the hero. Tragedy may be a play or novel, and in tragedy ending is the death of hero and many other characters as